Good morning, YouTube, or afternoon, or whenever you're watching this, listening back to this. If you are doing this as a rerun, you can skip ahead about 11 minutes, 10, 11 minutes when we start the actual radio program, unless you just want to hang out and listen to me jibber jabber. Today's guest is going to be Ron Ness. So there you go. Let's call him and get him hooked up. There we are. Morning, Waylon. Good morning.
This is Ron.
Good morning, Ron Ness, Guy Bachmeyer.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
I'm well. It's raining in Bismarck, North Dakota as we speak. Thankfully, we had a little overnight. Got a little spell over us now. How about yourself?
A little bit of drizzle overnight. You know, it was foggy all day yesterday and everything. So, I mean, the grass is wet, but definitely not a rain shower by any means.
I looked at the radar because we hadn't had anything out at our place last night. We got about 300s, but it looks like there's one coming at you over Baker right now. It's like a pretty good little south.
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit to the west of us here. So, yeah. We are live on YouTube, just to let you know, Ron. Before we get going on the radio side, letting the other stations connect in. Yeah, I have a branding over there right on pretty close to the Montana border here today, and they did not cancel it, so that must be even west of there.
Yeah, I see now. It's kind of a line between Webo and Baker. Don't know which way it's moving, but
yeah, I'm looking.
Pull
up my radar here.
Rain in a lot of places. I'm not sure we all got it, but
at least somebody's getting. Here's my only concern: I need somebody to have a really, really good crop of something for forage, so I can purchase from them.
Yeah,
is what I need. Yeah, that's a little bit west of Baker and heading pretty much straight north on my radar, anyway. So, good deal. Get some moisture somewhere. There's a big cell. Holy cow! Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Way up northeast.
I was thinking, I looked at that a while ago. I was hoping it was going to bounce right over you. So
that would be nice.
These cells are pretty thin. I don't know what else is out there for future, but oh boy, we needed it bad, as you do.
Yeah, it's pretty tough when the whole state, or North and South Dakota, most of Montana's dry. You know, shouldn't say that. You know, the Black Hills have had some pretty good moisture down there. So there's some places they do have it. Wayne just typed into YouTube. He says, "Good morning, Scott," and from Spearfish. Good rains down here last couple of days. So yeah, Wayne Muth. Good enough. No, what else been going on for you? Have you get your turkey?
I did not. We had a tremendous number of turkeys. We got a handful of them, but I just did not have the time to get out there. I had one fun day kind of chasing around a little bit, but I was just extremely busy in April and first part of May, so I didn't have the time to sit out there, but they were there for the take, and that's for sure. Most turkeys we've had, a long time.
Good.
So.
Good. Yeah, we haven't had them. The turkey population here is pretty much pretty scarce. You know, a lot of the folks have kind of put everything in the more forage instead of grains. And I suppose if you go over to like wine races, over to their big silage pile and all that kind of areas, but most everybody put in forage, so they must have snuck over to the neighbors someplace.
I had a group of 7 or 8 gobblers and a handful of hens one day, and I was sitting there blind, and I kept hearing them. Finally, I got out and I walked over through the woods and looked up over the fence, and those rascals! Oh my gosh, they were just moving around. I couldn't entice them out of that pack for nothing. But it was sure fun. It was, they're really a fun bird to hunt and watch. Wow.
I had one day I took and did some spot and stock with my bow and ended up finally getting one way down by the river.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
One shot with a bow.
Yep.
That is a challenge, my friend. Where'd you hit him?
He was looking straight at me. I just center punched him right through the chest cavity. Yeah.
Right above the beard.
He didn't have a whole heck of much of a beard, so yeah.
Little Jaker.
Yeah. I followed him for probably a mile and a half before I got on to the area. So, yesterday, get this. I got up and I thought yesterday was Saturday. I was ready to call you. I had everything ready to go, and I was ready to go on for Friday here. And I had my days all mixed up. So,
well, that happens when you're scrambling at it. So I'm sitting here, and I wish you were sitting in the same. I'm sitting here in my car, and it's just a flat out good little rain shower here.
It's nice.
Like real rain. It's like, wow. Forgot what it's like.
Yeah. Well, if you got nothing going on this coming Friday, we're branding. Since I know you're,
I would love to be there. I've got girls, my girls tennis regional tournament. So in Jamestown, I've got my twins. John's graduation party is tomorrow night.
Good.
Scott. So
I'll be darned.
Yeah. So
kids
how
are
fast
growing
has that gone?
Yeah, holy moly.
Remember, we were just out at your place, it seems like, and he was about 14. So
yeah.
What's happened here?
That's crazy how watching some of these all my friends' kids are growing up and graduating. Holy moly. I don't understand it. They're getting to the age where they can be grandparents, and I'm still in my 20s.
Yeah, me too. I'm the same way. I look around like, wow, that guy looks old. It's funny. I've been having a lot of those same moments. Man, is that us?
I was at a branding across the river here north of me last Saturday, and they used electric irons, and they had this generator. So I went over and helped. I was going to help put it back on the bed of the pickup, and the guy's kids come over. He's like, "Oh, let us young guys take care of this," and I'm like, holy cow, I'm at that age.
That just happened to me.
Oh, man.
Let's see. How long you got me scheduled for today?
I got you for the whole hour if you can.
All right. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, see how it goes.
Well, we can talk a little fishing. We'll talk a little tree planting. We can start out with a little Dakota Access Pipeline ruling was yesterday, so that was a big deal.
Well, I got oil industry and some questions about prices that people need to. They asked me because some of them knew I had you going. I was at a branding yesterday, and they asked who was going to be on, and they said, "Ask why the gas prices keep going up, and is there more people drilling?" So we'll start out with some of those questions.
Great. So how long were you branding? How much help you have, and how long will it take you?
Oh, we'll start around 9:00 in the morning and do my father-in-law's bunch and come over here and round up mine and get mine done. Probably be done around 2:30, 3:00 in the afternoon, somewhere in there maybe.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit later. I got to run all my cows through this time. I'm going to do some retagging and do some, just clean some tags up a little bit on them, a little bit nicer.
Mm-hmm.
And, but yeah, I have, I've been to, I think yesterday was like 14 brandings already I've been to.
Have you really? Wow.
It's been busy. Everybody, and I got this, I got one, was it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, again this week.
Cow Scott, are you like the expert brander helper? Or?
Well, you pay back help, I mean, people come help you. You try to get to theirs and help.
Oh.
Yeah, I got to run down to the river, and then tomorrow is my buddy over here on the other side of me, but yeah.
Well, I'm hoping to get some habitat seed in the ground. I'm going to plant a forage crop so my renter can hay it because he needs hay badly. So,
good.
And then put some cover crop underneath it, or radishes and turnips and stuff like that. So I think that'll work out. Hopefully, get a If we can catch a couple rains.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about those is you can plant those a little bit later.
Yeah, we're waiting.
All right, I'm going to turn you down. We got 30 seconds. So stand by. Stations, 30 seconds. Morning, Chuck. 15-second stations on mark. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors. For the next hour, we have the privilege to talk anything outdoors, and you can call in with your questions, comments, concerns. Toll-free number is 888-932-5682. That's 888-932-5682 or 9Dakota, if you can type it out that way, too. I'm Scott Bachmeyer, and today's show brought to you by many of the great sponsors who support the outdoors and agriculture, like Action Motorsports on the Strip in Mandan. Have the Polaris Ag Advantage program today, and that's where you can go in if you're an active egg producer. They'll go in and take 10% off any new Polaris Ranger, Sportsman, or Polaris General today. Stop in and ask about the Polaris Ag Advantage from Action Motorsports on the Strip in Mandan, or go to their website here, actionsportspolaris.com. That's actionsportspolaris.com. My guest today, the president of the North Dakota Petroleum Council, also sitting on the national board for the Mule Deer Foundation, Mr. Ron Ness. Good morning, sir.
Well, good morning, Scott. How are you today?
Well, I'm doing good. You say it's raining in your neck of the woods, I guess. Huh? We have a little mist here from the fog, but it's better than no moisture, I guess.
Well, I'm hopeful that you get what we have a beautiful rain shower right now in the Bismarck Mandan, and it's just amazing. It can rain. So
yeah,
we missed all that rain the other night, and we watched it go a little bit east of us, a couple inches over in Minokan, which is not very far. But we're getting a nice rain shower. We had a rain shower overnight, so hopefully you'll catch one of these coming your way.
Well, I tell everybody it's called the Badlands for a reason out here. And so the chance of rain sometimes doesn't always hit us, but hopefully we can get a little bit of moisture on this grass here and get the pastures growing. I'll tell you this right now. I see a ton of pronghorn antelope right now, and they're starting to kid right now. And it's kind of fun watching those little babies out there, and they're just fast little buggers, aren't they?
They are. And the population seems to be, and we've had nice winters, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I think the population is going good. So that's good to hear.
Well, first, let's talk a little bit. Questions yesterday to branding there. I heard I was having the president of the North Dakota Petroleum Council on. They says, why is the gas price going so high, but it doesn't seem like there's more drilling or activity in the oil patch? How can you explain this?
Well, crude oil prices have risen pretty steadily, really, since the end of January. So we're in that $63 to $65 range. So I would suspect that is probably most of the gas prices. And of course, if you're on the East Coast where the Colonial Pipeline was shut down, you're just glad to get gasoline and diesel fuel. So I think that was a pretty good wake up call for us. But yeah, I think the gas prices hovering around that $3 is fairly consistent with probably, that $65. But we just have not seen the drilling activity increase. And part of that is just, the economic destruction. It was a tough year for the triple whammy for the last 13 months for the oil and gas industry, and the producers were just economically really stressed. So I'm beginning to see a little bit of restoration of the economic health, I think, of the companies. We're seeing a couple additional completion crews starting up in North Dakota, but the drilling rig count is still around 17. But we're holding around that 1.1 million barrels, but certainly we'd like to see more of the drilling and completions, because it's like everything else. That yesterday was the best day of an oil well's life, so you got to keep replenishing it, bringing on new wells in order to maintain this 1.1 million barrels a day that we're producing. But we had great news yesterday, Scott, with the Dakota Access Pipeline decision.
What was the decision there?
The Judge Boasberg, the Washington, D.C. district judge, ruled that the Standing Rock Tribe did not have a cause of action and sufficient to shut down the Dakota Access Pipeline, and the pipeline will remain open.
Nice.
Which means we're going to carry 570,000 barrels a day. I'm going to repeat that. 570,000 barrels of American-made Bakken oil from North Dakota to the Louisiana Gulf Coast through the Dakota Access Pipeline, which I think we all recognize is simply just amazing. That oil otherwise would be coming from somewhere else in the world, most likely someone not friendly to us. So that's a good thing. So plus it probably is some relief today for the ag industry, so we don't flood the rails with oil tankers for the fall.
So am I assuming that there's going to be another protest, or somebody's going to protest this decision? I'm guessing somebody will.
Well, I don't know. I think this one's pretty hard to determine because this is the judge that they had relied on. And I'm not the legal expert on this, but I would say that pipeline, this ruling should determine that pipeline will remain open. Now, the environmental impact statement will be completed. It'll take until they're saying next March, but that was the question: is should the pipeline be shut down while they do this EIS? And again, the company did exactly what they were instructed to do by the Obama administration. They did one of the most extensive environmental assessments ever done, and then it was ruled that there should have been an environmental impact statement, Scott, which just really means more time and more resources and more time, but. That will be done, but there's no reason that pipeline shouldn't continue to operate. It's almost 4 years now carrying oil, reliable, affordable, economic oil to a great market for our Bakken. So it's great for North Dakota. I think it's great for the oil and gas industry, the mineral owners, the western communities, and also the Fort Berthold Indian Reservation, where a large percentage of that oil is coming from there, and they're doing some great things up there with some of their revenue streams.
So you got the Fort Berthold side that's benefiting from it, but the Standing Rock side doesn't much care for it. They're fighting against each other. It doesn't make sense to me sometimes.
I think sometimes it's they got to stand up for what's right for their own folks, and I think it's been a pretty cordial, friendly dispute. But I think Fort Berthold had to stand up and just acknowledge how important that is. They've been building new schools. They opened a new cultural center last week. They're building drug rehabs and lots of good things going on. And there's really changing the narrative for their folks. So, they stood up and made it known that would significantly hurt them. But this is a big decision because now, and that may be one other thing that's been holding back some of that activity, Scott, that your friends were asking you about. Because if you don't know where your cattle's going to go, are you going to go out and buy more cattle? You're going to kind of sit tight for a while, right? Just like you don't know if your grass is going to grow this year, or you're going to have hay.
Exactly. Yeah. How about hacking a pipeline? We heard that on the East Coast. Somebody hacked into the pipeline. What actually happened there? And is it possible that the Dakota Access Pipeline is under that same scrutiny?
Well, it certainly is. I think every business is under that type of scrutiny, and all of the utilities and everybody that moves any type of energy, they're constantly being attempts to hack them. So companies do a lot of due diligence. I was unfortunate that they had to pay a ransom to whoever did that, because obviously that encourages more of it down the road. And we had former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo here at the time when that was happening, and he thought that smelled like something the Russians would do. So, but yeah, they got in and they found their way into the management of that pipeline. So pretty scary stuff.
Yeah.
In terms of what can happen out there.
It is. Well, anybody they could hack into my radio program right now, I guess. Here we're up against our first break. Ron Ness, stay with me here. We'll be talking more on, some outdoor projects, especially tree planting and food plots and everything, including getting more deer in your property. That's coming up your way here shortly. Want to remind everybody, the Alliance Custom Armory 7th Annual Dakota Dual Shooting Competition in Little Eagle, South Dakota is July 17th and 18th. If you want more information on this, go to acaguns.com, or you can call any of the folks part of that. Also, let's see here, June 11th and 12th is the Denny Palmer Memorial Walleye Classic. That's coming up in Mobridge. Get a hold of the Mobridge Chamber of Commerce for more information. Back after these messages.
Our Our outdoor heritage is important to North Dakotans, and the state's oil and natural gas industry is advancing the possibilities for conservation. The North Dakota Outdoor Heritage Fund receives up to $40 million per biennium from oil and natural gas taxes. The industry is reclaiming land for future generations, and it's developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. North Dakota Oil and Natural Gas, advancing the possibilities. Brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Foundation.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Pifer's Western team of Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby would like to invite you to sit down and talk about the future of land planning. Whether you're looking at selling, buying, or options to hand it down to the next generation, Andy and Jim will lay out all of the options for you. It's a great time to buy or sell, and with interest rates to make it profitable. Pifer's Western team, Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby. For more information or land updates, go to pifers.com.
Did you know that Dakota Community Bank and Trust was recently named North Dakota's best small bank in Newsweek's America's Best Banks 2021? According to Newsweek, from over 2,500 FDIC-insured institutions, we are amongst the nation's top banks to serve our customers' needs in today's challenging times, ranking number 1 in North Dakota. We invite you to come bank with us. Stop in today to your nearest Dakota Community Bank and Trust and see what being America's best small bank is all about.
MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo-Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy.
Our outdoor heritage is important to North Dakotans, and the state's oil and natural gas industry is advancing the possibilities for conservation. The North Dakota Outdoor Heritage Fund receives up to $40 million per biennium from oil and natural gas taxes. The industry is reclaiming land for future generations, and it's developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. North Dakota Oil and Natural Gas, advancing the possibilities. Brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Foundation.
Western Frontier Insurance. Agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, and Wilton.
Pifer's Western team of Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby would like to invite you to sit down and talk about the future of land planning. Whether you're looking at selling, buying, or options to hand it down to the next generation, Andy and Jim will lay out all of the options for you. It's a great time to buy or sell, and with interest rates to make it profitable. Pifer's Western team, Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby. For more information or land updates, go to pifers.com.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors. KGFX in Pierre, Fort Pierre area. KOLY in Mobridge. K-Fire 550, the voice of the Northern Plains, Bismarck, Mandan. KLTC in Dickinson, and KCJB in the Minot area. Glad those stations are along with me for the ride. And everybody watching on my YouTube channel here this morning. 888-932-5682 is the number if you want to call in. My guest is the president of the North Dakota Petroleum Council and sits on the national board for the Mule Deer Foundation, Ron Ness. Welcome back, Ron. So besides the nice rain shower that you're having, you know what this means is there might be some potential. I was talking to John Arman about food plots, and you might not have to hook up sprinklers for your food plots this year if we continue to get a little bit of this moisture, but fingers crossed. And you said you're helping out with some of the property that you have putting in cover crops, and that's always a good thing. Deer and everything loves those cover crops.
We are, Scott. We've been holding off a little bit. Our renter wants to have some hay, so we're going to put in a forage crop, and we're working on a mix in which he can put that in and get some Sudan grass and millet and different things, and then hay that off, and we'll have some crop that comes up afterwards, some radishes and turnips and all of those good things. But just glad to see the rain. It was just absolutely bone dry southwest of Mandan, and we were pretty worried. Also worried about that pheasant hatch. You don't have a little bit of moisture, that's not good for those hens are probably sitting now, and they need a little bit of moisture. So,
it's weird when
Scott, I thought we should do a little shout out to our friend Terry Steinwand. He announced his retirement from the Game and Fish Department, and Terry's been there a long time. He's retired in June, and he is just that is a really difficult job he's got, and he's worked so hard at it. So congrats to him, and hopefully he can get out hunting a little more now.
We had a great advisory meeting down in the Rame area, and Terry came down for that one. Had a great meeting. It was I've been to a lot of those advisory meetings, and Terry just handles things just nice and calm, doesn't he?
He does, and it's just a job that you've got to. You're in between the hunters and the ranchers and the the antis, and he's done a great job. We've got it pretty good here in the North Dakota Outdoors. So, and he does. He's very, very calm with everybody. He always takes everybody's questions, and he works just so darn hard. Yeah. So good for him.
How many years do you know was he with the Game and Fish? Because he was,
it said he was there a long time. I think
30 some.
I would say so.
Yeah. Well, Terry, if you're listening, call in 888-932-5682. We can talk with you a little bit here. So, we tell you what. So, forage crops, are you finding it difficult? Because I've been hearing around here, especially when it comes to the cover crops like the turnips and radishes, it's getting difficult to find the seed. Are you seeing? I have a friend of mine that's trying to put 160 acres into cover crops, and it's just so he can graze it this fall. And he's having a hard time finding the seed right now. Are you finding that same issue, or do you have a secret source going on somewhere that we don't know about?
That's pretty concerning, because I just kind of figured I wouldn't have any problems, so I really haven't looked. So I've got about a week and a half here, I think. So I guess I know what I'm going to be doing today. So better start looking around. No, I had not heard that, Scott.
Okay.
So that's good news. And when you do those specialty crops, you got about 12 to 15 different types of seed that we're going to be putting in there. Mm-hmm. So I imagine it would be a challenge. So I want to check that out.
My neighbor put in the cover crop up just across from me here, about a mile away, and a nice little flat area. He wanted to just improve the soil. I mean, and it does. These cover crops just improve the soil so well. And when he put that in, not only he had turnips, radishes, and can't remember the other ones. Some maybe like a beet of some sort. But anyway, I've never seen the cows as happy as I've seen it, just all over the place. And the elk absolutely destroyed that field. That's how much they love that stuff up there. So I know it's great for wildlife, and the deer, I'm sure, were pretty happy with it too. So I'm excited to see some of the hopefully put some game camera pictures on it, and let me see what you get going down in that area.
Well, apparently after the second freeze, those radishes and turnips turn to sugar. So those deer will dig those things out of the ground no matter what the temperature is. So it's pretty amazing. Yeah,
that's good stuff. So what do you got? Any other food plots you got lined out here for this year, or are you gonna just spot and stock.
No, Scott, we're
everything
going to do
like I
that, but we just finished our Planting for the Future tree program, which
good.
is through our North Dakota Petroleum Foundation, and got a couple of great guys, primarily Dave Schockman, who planted, I think he did 8 projects, 34,000 trees. We had another 2 projects for another 1,000 trees, so we did 10 projects this year for 35,000 trees in the ground. So that puts us over a 3 or 4 year period here. We're probably approaching 150,000 trees that we put in the ground for the last 4 years. So that's been a tremendous success, and it's just so great because landowners, that's a landowners program. We provide the trees, a little bit of expertise and some support in terms of, how and what you might want to plant, but really the landowners own the project. They got to get the crew together. Therefore, we think they'll take good care of it if they've helped put it in. You know how it is.
Oh yeah.
At your place, when you plant that tree yourself, you're going to watch it and care for it a little bit more. So we had some great projects. Although we had a big one down at south of Elgin. We did 5,300 trees the other day. So kudos to Dave and for getting out and getting that done. And Tessa Sandstrom runs that program underneath our Petroleum Foundation. And we will be looking for projects now for 2022. People can go to the North Dakota Petroleum Foundation website, and it's called Planting for the Future, and send in an application.
Now, most of these areas that you want planted are habitat. I mean, this is for habitat. It's not tree rows around your house.
This is 100% a habitat planting, multi-row, designed in and around specifically for habitat. And we like those. Obviously, we like those big blocks of trees, and so. But it's been a great program, and I think it supplements what all the county programs are doing in the ASDS offices and RCS and those folks. So the more trees, the better. We know that critical habitat for the wildlife is essential. So, but it's been a lot of fun actually. So we enjoy that. It's an outdoor heritage fund grant program that we put together, and we're also always looking for somebody that out there who has a passion to want to be one of our tree planting specialists and spend a few weeks or more in the spring, but a lot of work goes into it in the fall and the winter, trying to work with landowners, develop a plan, getting out there, making sure the land is prepped and ready. But we are looking for somebody else to, because I think we could expand that. We could do. We'd like to double down and do, 75,000 or so trees every spring. But you have a pretty short window to get these trees in the ground. So if somebody out there listening has a passion and the time to do something like this, give me a call.
Yeah. Did you find it a little difficult with the drought conditions this year for that time window to be able to get them planted in and make it work for them?
We had a few landowners, Scott, that just really just took a pass this year, just worried about how dry it was going to be. And of course, as you know, you can go in last spring we went into, it was so wet you didn't know you could hardly get anything in the ground, and then it turned out to be extremely dry. So I always say, you just got to plan it and hope for the best, hope and pray for the best, because we don't control when it's going to rain and when it's not going to rain, and it could start raining and not stop. Now, who knows? Yeah,
and I bet not every area is easy accessible where you can put a drip system in it and try to help them along in the dry conditions either.
Most of these trees are going to go in the ground, and maybe get a little bit of water on them manually, but these are pretty big projects, and Mother Nature is just going to have to take its course in most of this. And we always think about tree rows. We think of perfect tree rows, right, where every tree is in a place. But as far as I can tell, I don't think that pheasants and the deer really care all that much if there's a tree missing here or there.
They don't. I've never seen a pheasant worry about that at all. No. Well, Ron, we're up against our break here. We got some people with some text messages coming in for the second half, so stay with me as we continue to talk with Ron Ness from the North Dakota Petroleum Council here. And just a reminder, a couple other things. The 4th annual Heart Butte Tournament for the kids tournament, youth tournament, fishing tournaments coming up on June 12th. And a pretty cool little tournament where everything is free. Supplies and everything is provided for the youth tournament. More on the way after these messages.
outdoor heritage is important to North Dakotans, and the state's oil and natural gas industry is advancing the possibilities for conservation. The North Dakota Outdoor Heritage Fund receives up to $40 million per biennium from oil and natural gas taxes. The industry is reclaiming land for future generations, and it's developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. North Dakota Oil and Natural Gas, advancing the possibilities. Brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Foundation.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Piper's Western team of Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby would like to invite you to sit down and talk about the future of land planning. Whether you're looking at selling, buying, or options to hand it down to the next generation, Andy and Jim will lay out all of the options for you. It's a great time to buy or sell, and with interest rates to make it profitable. Piper's Western team, Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby. For more information or land updates, go to pifers.com.
Did you know that Dakota Community Bank and Trust was recently named North Dakota's best small bank in Newsweek's America's Best Banks 2021? According to Newsweek, from over 2,500 FDIC-insured institutions, we are amongst the nation's top banks to serve our customers' needs in today's challenging times, ranking number one in North Dakota. We invite you to come bank with us. Stop in today to your nearest Dakota Community Bank and Trust and see what being America's best small bank is all about.
MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Motrest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy.
Our outdoor heritage is important to North Dakotans, and the state's oil and natural gas industry is advancing the possibilities for conservation. The North Dakota Outdoor Heritage Fund receives up to $40 million per biennium from oil and natural gas taxes. The industry is reclaiming land for future generations, and it's developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. North Dakota Oil and Natural Gas, advancing the possibilities. Brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Foundation.
Western Frontier Insurance. Agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, and Wilton.
Piper's Western team of Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby would like to invite you to sit down and talk about the future of land planning. Whether you're looking at selling, buying, or options to hand it down to the next generation, Andy and Jim will lay out all of the options for you. It's a great time to buy or sell, and with interest rates to make it profitable. Piper's Western team, Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby. For more information or land updates, go to pifers.com.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition as we get into the second half of the hour here. Ron Ness is my guest. And Ron, message from Wayne. He said he just checked. He said Terry Steinwand has been with the Game and Fish in North Dakota for 39 years. 39.
Wow, Scott, that's just about as old as you. That's a long time. So 39 years. What a commitment. What a great legacy he's left all of us so in the outdoors. So
I'm going to brag a little bit, though. I'm going to brag, Ron. Are you ready for this one? He's been working at the Game and Fish longer than my wife has been living.
Ooh.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
Wow.
I'm bragging about
Speaking
that.
of Game and Fish, Scott, deer applications are out due pretty soon. I don't know the exact date, maybe about June 4th or so. So everybody out of get that done so you don't forget.
Yeah. I got the email and I forgot. Good thing you reminded me. I'll do that here while I have everything fired up here this morning. Also, a question about fishing comes in here. Can you ask Ron if they're going to be having their fishing tournament this year?
We are having our Bakken Classic Walleye Derby along with our Cook Fest events. We're going to have a Cook Fest event in Mohall and in Arnegard, and the day in between that Wednesday will be the Fishing Derby, which will be, I believe it is the 14th of July. So Cook Fest the 13th, and then Fishing Derby the 14th, and Cook Fest the 15th, I believe. So,
where do you usually go for the Fishing Derby? Where do you put in?
We fish out of the Newtown Marina.
Okay.
And we have we'll probably have 90 to 100 boats. I think we're maxed out at 100 boats, or you get a number, and we max that thing out. So it'll be fantastic. Can't wait. So we didn't have it last year, and of course all of the proceeds from that tournament go to outdoors conservation habitat. We've got a couple of projects we're hoping to work with Marshall Johnson on and the Mule Deer Foundation out in the Badlands area. So Scott, I don't know if you know a guy that needs any fence pulled or anything done on a ranch down there, but we're looking for some projects. So
you want fencing projects? I got them for you. But then
we like to pull up the old fence, the old cheap fence. That's the type of stuff we're looking for. So
are you going to put
give us a shot?
And you're putting new fence in?
I think they will help. They will help you with that. We have not done that. We primarily have focused on getting rid of the old stuff, and then they help support an effort for you to bring new fence in. I think with some cost share.
Good. That's a nice thing. You're on the national board for the Mule Deer Foundation. You guys ever get a chance when you're? I don't know if you meet monthly, or do you guys meet in person since the COVID thing, or are you doing it over the Zoom area?
We had our first meeting in person last weekend, and I had activities with my kids who were graduating this year, so I couldn't make it. But it was the first time in more than about a year and a half. So I think that we've really missed out. We meet quarterly, and it was great to have some of them back in person.
Yeah. When you get together, do you guys ever talk about the population of mule deer across like other states and the health of the deer? I mean, especially when we're talking chronic waste disease seems to be kind of on everybody's radar in a lot of different states. What are other states doing? Or do you get a chance to ever talk to them about that?
We do. We've got folks on the National Mule Deer Board from all across the West, certainly, and some folks are not in mule deer country because there's a lot of passion and interest, of course, in states that hunt out west. So we've tried to make chronic wasting one of our primary focus areas, and it really what we've determined is that states are going to manage. States like the guys like Terry Steinwand across the country, they know how to best manage it in their state. What we've tried to do is provide as much education and information about it as possible. And I think mule deer populations across the West are trending up. We've been working a lot on habitat migration corridors, and we don't really have that issue in North Dakota. Your migration corridor is probably from the river up to the alfalfa fields up on the top. But when you get out into the mountains, that gets to be a super big deal, ensuring that they've got habitat on that migration corridor that they're going to move out of that when that snowpack comes. So that's been a super big thing. As you get down in the southern states, really water development, and it's probably something that we should look at more, Scott. terms of these rain catches that they build in order to just catch the rain and, create some type of a system there. So there's a source of water for them. So a lot of effort goes into that in Arizona and all of the southern states.
What kind of explain the water catches a little bit more? Are they just like dams or dugouts, or what's that? How are they built?
Yeah, they're kind of a at the end of kind of in the terrain where you just create a little catch. It's just a little kind of a pool, almost a pool, not really like what we would think of a big dam, but just more of a pool that deer can get in. It's pretty creative. So
yeah,
very popular in northern Arizona and those areas.
You take water. I take water for granted out here because we have a lot of springs and artesian waters, and that's just part of what we have in this area. So we never really worry so much about the wildlife having access to water. But you get in some of those states, like you said, in Arizona, you never think about that, how important that water is. In fact, I just seen a post from Levi Nelson here that he's hauling water out to the deer, out to his food plots. So the deer have water sources for that, at least fresh water, because what happens if the water gets stale. But you just don't ever think of that in some areas. But water source is probably one of the better ones besides food plots to put out there.
I think we could do more of it in North Dakota, actually.
Okay.
I think it'd be a great way to ensure that those wildlife are going to move to get water. So when we have dry spells and as we move into fall, having water available for them would be something that I think is a great way for keep those animals in the area you want them, but also make sure they've got the water they need.
Some biologists claim that chronic waste disease is shared because of too big a groups of deer together, which is why some places and some units they don't allow baiting. Would this be against some policies, maybe in certain units, to put water sources because that's where they're going to congregate?
Well, isn't that just the way it works out there, Scott? I kind of had the same thought myself, but if there's a pool of water, whether you man-made or not, aren't the deer going to come and drink out of that same pool of water? And same way with, some type of food that they like. So, I probably a lot of different opinions on that one. But
I'm just playing the devil's advocate on this because, it's something that you have to keep in the back of your head a little bit because, you might be regulated on that too, and you never can tell. So I just got a text from Jamie. He says he's been out to my place and knows that I have a lot of fencing projects. He said, so even if you don't cost share any of it, you can still come out and help, Ron.
Okay. Well, how's the prairie dog population? I probably better ask that first.
I will tell you what we did. It got so out of hand the last few years, and you've seen our prairie dog town. And it got so out of hand, Ron, that we were losing so much pasture, and they were crossing over to neighbors and everywhere else. We hired a guy and we got him poisoned last fall. Now they didn't get 100% success rate by any means, but probably a 75-80% success rate. And so all the neighbors got together, and I think they did just hundreds of acres of them. And I mean, you know what we had almost a full section of them down in our place. And so that's not going to entice you to come out to help me. I get that, but we can find something else to shoot. I mean, I know where there's other dog towns besides mine.
Well, the destruction that I saw from one year to the next year in your pasture there, and how far they had moved into the sage and the other habitat, it was simply amazing. And so you had to do something.
We did.
There weren't enough bullets left in the country to have an impact on the problem that you had out there.
Isn't it crazy? And you saw this over the few years. You've been out a couple of years. Like we were talking about your son graduating. He was 14 when he came out and shot prairie dogs at one time, and it's how fast time flies here. But you just mentioned how much they ate the sage. I mean, that whole flat down there along the river was nothing but sagebrush, and it was completely decimated. The only thing that was down there was cactus that was left over. And when you're talking about projects, especially wildlife habitat projects, I mean, how important is it to control the prairie dog? I mean, some people say that their prairie dogs help, and I haven't seen that. When they take away all the vegetation around, I don't think it really helps much except for maybe owls and eagles and snakes maybe. But do you guys ever talk about that? When you're talking Mule Deer Foundation and projects, maybe getting rid of some of these prairie dog towns, but that might help too.
That topic has not come up, but I certainly, after seeing your place, I think that the steps you took, those are things that have to be done, because that destroyed the habitat. There wasn't anything living out there, like you said. It was just a flat mecca of nothing. So that was nice piece of ground there. So
if you like shooting prairie dogs, it was awesome, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was really something.
Yeah, it was a good time. So
what kind of spoiled the kid though? He'd rather shoot prairie dogs than anything else, because that was
at least
maximum fun.
At least it's still shooting. I had this argument with, who did I? It was an online keyboard warrior person. I won't say the name because I'm probably watching on YouTube here right now anyway. But the argument we were having here this past week, Ron, was because when I had Keith Warren on, everybody calls Keith Warren a high fence hunter. Okay. And I've never seen any one of Keith's shows where he actually hunted in a high fence, but he owns a deer farm and he sells hunts for himself. And the argument came here, Ron, where this guy was showing a pair of antler sheds online, and the guy was just making fun. He's like, "Oh yeah, you spend $10,000, you can get a pair of antlers like that, but you don't have any hard work or blah 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 put into it." And my mind, trying to keep the hunting industry all together instead of splitting us apart, was thinking, well, at least somebody paid 10 grand to go and actually kill a deer. At least you're keeping them shooting. At least you're keeping them that way instead of on the other side of the fence where it's going to be, well, we want to do away with all types of hunting and animal agriculture. So what's your thoughts on that? I guess, I see the hunting industry kind of breaking themselves apart from the inside.
Well, I think you're exactly right, Scott. I saw a presentation this week, and it was one of the things about the ban on lead, and that really was never about the lead poison. It was really about the anti-hunting groups funding efforts to try and reduce opportunities to shoot, and doing that via raising the price of cost of shooting by banning lead and getting it banned everywhere possible for every reason possible. So we've got a lot of folks out there that just simply don't want us hunting. And back to the Keith Warren piece, just like yourself, as you know, if you're going to have good habitat and you're going to grow wildlife and grow those populations, it just takes a tremendous amount of work. So, for anybody out there who's doing that, that you spend so much more time working on your habitat projects, your trees, everything that goes along with that. The hunting aspect of it becomes just a very minimal part of it, and actually it becomes secondary almost to caring for your projects and caring for your the type of habitat you're putting together.
Yeah. Message comes in. It says, you guys talking about shooting prairie dogs. Bullets are too scarce to waste on prairie dogs.
Well, there's a lot of truth to that. I got to start thinking about trying to find some bullets I thought last November, I won't worry about that. And all of a sudden now it's May. I'm thinking, we might want to start finding some bullets for the fall.
Yeah. Everybody was telling me they thought I was one of those doomsday preppers. Now I'm sitting pretty good, I guess. And
I might be coming to visit you if you got a lot of ammo. I might be on the way.
Another
I'm in the car.
Another text says, a good day of prairie dog shooting is every bit as good as shooting a 170 class mule deer, in my opinion, he said.
Well, I think we saw that with my son, in terms of just it was world class. It was a video game thing times 10,000, right? It was just It was so much fun. We had spent all that time. You were a gracious host, and it was good time by the fire, and those days go by fast. So thank you for that opportunity when we had it.
So what happens? You're a father you're going to be an empty nester after this year, and how do you keep your kids interested, in continuing to hunt or fish or do any of that after they leave the household? I mean, if they don't have a huge passion for it, how can a person kind of spark that and keep that going as a parent?
Boy, I'm open to all the advice in the world. I'm not sure that I've been overly successful with my two daughters, and obviously the opportunity's always been there, and you hope that you light that spark with some. We've tried to diversify into hiking or canoeing or kayaking, but anybody that's taking kids out and getting those young hunters, that you hope you instill that in them, and someday they're going to come back to it. But I don't know. I think it's one of the greatest challenges, and that is one thing we spend a tremendous amount of time on the Mule Deer board talking about the future of making sure that we have people who want to hunt and be in the outdoors and support habitat, because that is a tremendous threat. And if you just think of people around you, and you look at our friends' kids, how many of them just have no clue? There's so many more today that just have no clue. So I'm glad the Game and Fish Department got these shooting programs going. They got their bow program going. So those are things we got to keep providing those opportunities and hoping that it catches on and it comes back to them maybe.
Speaking of shooting opportunities, the North Dakota Junior High Rodeo Finals are today in Bowman, and James Harriman took over the shooting sports for me for the high school and junior high rodeo, and it's his first year this year, and I wish him the best of luck here in Bowman today, and especially all the junior high shooters there too. And you should see that one of these years, Ron. The high school and junior high, you get some of these farm and ranch kids, man, they are just really, really good at shooting. I wish we could actually do a prairie dog rodeo hunt, but it would be fun, but hopefully that goes well. The last 60 seconds here for you, Ron. If there's any other information from the Petroleum Council or fencing projects or tree projects, how do they get in touch with you?
They can contact us at North Dakota Petroleum Foundation. Look that up on the website, or 701-223-6380, or Ron Ness at ndoil.org. Ron Ness at ndoil.org. We'll be ramping up our fishing derby here in July, and we'll be doing some habitat projects. If you're interested, we've had a lot of interest in people coming out and helping on these projects with the Mule Deer Foundation. It's a lot of fun, and the landowners who we help out just absolutely appreciate it. And of course, we've always got other programs and opportunities available. So thanks a lot, Scott. Thanks for what you do, and have a great outdoors day.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Ron. Thank you for coming with and being on a Saturday morning. You have a great weekend, and go find some cover crop seed.
Thank you.
All right. You bet. Ron Ness, North Dakota Petroleum Council. Before we leave here, a few announcements coming up here. You can register online right now for the Pollock Men's Club fishing coming up here this way. PollockMen'sClub.com is the website for the 43rd annual walleye tournament. That's going to be coming up on June 19th and 20th in Pollock, South Dakota. Now, this is they're having a shoot south of Mott on June 5th. Okay, so they don't have flyers that they sent to me. If you want more information, contact Devin Olson on this. He found me on Facebook. I think you can find him there too. So $50 entry, 5 rounds, 6 shots per round. That's coming up south of Mott on June 5th. Let's see here. What else is going on here? We got June 11th and June 12th. It's the 70th anniversary of the North Dakota Cattlewomen and their state meeting. The Alliance Custom Armory having their 7th annual Dakota Duel long-range shoot. Anywhere from 250 yards out to 1,400 yards. Plus, they're going to have some novelties that go on beyond a mile. So you can join that July 17th and 18th. That's down in that Little Eagle, South Dakota area. And 2-person teams on this. So it's kind of a lot of fun here. $200 a team, and they're going to be paying out all cash on that stuff as well. Also coming up, like I said before, the Danny Palmer Memorial Walleye Classic. This is brought to you by the Mobridge Chamber Tourism Committee, and it's June 11th and 12th as well. It'll be on Lake Oahe, of course. This is kind of the neat thing here. If you win this one or you get in a certain spot here, they're going to be giving away 3 guaranteed spots in the ice fishing tournament side of things for the 2022 ice fishing tournament. So if you want more information, contact the Mobridge Chamber of Commerce. And the 4th annual Heart Butte Dam, that's down in Lake China. Youth tournament's coming up on June 12th, $10 per entry. But get this, all fishing supplies are going to be provided for the kids. So if you want more information on that, get in hold of the DakotaFishFest.com. That's DakotaFishFest.com. That's a wrap for me, Scott Bachmeyer. This is Dakota Prairie Outdoors. Have yourself a great weekend. Remember, eat some meat, drink some milk today. All right, stations, thank you so much for allowing me to be part of you again here. Clicking off that one. YouTube, thanks again. Have yourself a good day. See you at the next branding, which is in about, I don't know, I'm leaving right now. So if you want to ride with, meet me on the road. We'll be ending that stream.